So you're thinking about making the move to the Charlotte, North Carolina area and have finally narrowed your search to the South Charlotte area. Well, this video is for you because we are highlighting the 5 top suburbs that are absolutely exploding in the South Charlotte area, and we're going to break them all down for you in this video, so stick around. All right, well, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe below so you'll be the first to know as new videos about the South Charlotte area are posted every single week. So make sure you click the bell and you'll be notified right away. I'm Steve Jarrell with the Longleaf Group, and we absolutely love working and helping people just like you every single day. So absolutely reach out to us and we would love to help you in your search and provide as much information as you need. So let's jump in, and we're going to start by talking about our first hot suburb in the South Charlotte area.
Well, all right, let's jump into the first of our top 5 South Charlotte suburbs, according to niche.com, that are really growing and really attractive to people looking to make a move in the South Charlotte area. So the first on our list is the Matthews, North Carolina area, which is well positioned, well located in the South Charlotte, right at the cusp of 485 and 74, right here. That is attractive for people that commute or just want to get around town. But using the niche.com scores, you can see that they've rated an overall ranking of an A for the Matthews area. And we'll jump through these 6 criteria that they used. They're obviously important for anybody wanting to relocate to an area. Public schools, housing in general. We'll talk about here in just a minute the real estate market in specifically the Matthews area. Good for families. It's ranked highly. Crime and safety, nightlife, and diversity. So with a population of just under 30,000, Matthews is a fast-growing city, as well as having business development in the area, a nightlife that's mentioned on there with their historic downtown in Matthews, which a lot of really cool restaurants and businesses on the downtown strip of Trade Street in Matthews, so has a lot going on. But before we jump into some of these criteria, let's take a look at the real estate market in Matthews. So let's jump into the real estate side of things in Matthews. The appreciation in the real estate market in Matthews, as you would imagine for any attractive area, and all the areas we're going to talk about are attractive, obviously, as our top suburbs, but the appreciation of the home sales of the homes in Matthews has skyrocketed. You can see here an overview in the Matthews area. So from a sales perspective, the median sales price in the Matthews area is just under $500,000 at $497,500, an increase of 10% year over year. So we're seeing on that same timeline, the greater Charlotte area actually decreased by 1%, which when you look at the past year in real estate has still seen overall appreciation but flattening, and the suburbs we'll talk about have increased and will continue to increase because of just the lack of inventory, which, speaking of the lack of inventory, the number of homes on the market, you can see as well here in the Matthews area, we have seen a substantial decrease in the number of listings, the number of homes on the market in Matthews because of just such a demand. With the decrease of 22, almost 23%, have seen a slight increase in inventory over the past few months because of a variety of reasons with interest rates, and things have just dragged down the amount of homes that have been able to come on the market. Well, I should say the number of people able to buy homes have allowed more inventory to pile up, but we're still at such a low level and the area is such in demand that we're still at such a low amount of homes on the market that it makes it, especially important to be ready to buy when the right home does jump on the market. So this gives you an idea of the homes on the market. the prices for homes in the market here. The median, like I said, just under 500,000. Number 2 on our list from niche.com of our top suburbs in the South Charlotte area, and that is actually in South Carolina, right on the border of North and South Carolina. Easy access to Charlotte with the access to 77 taking you straight north into Charlotte, but that is Fort Mill. Fort Mill is absolutely a top suburb. It's from a number of reasons that niche.com shares here with public schools. South Carolina and York County in particular has highly rated schools that draw people wanting to be in the suburbs of Charlotte and take advantage of, how the housing market in Fort Mill, obviously the schools. They rated it as a A+, as good for families. Crime and safety being a positive trend comparatively in the area. Nightlife, I don't know so much about the nightlife in Fort Mill, but they do have a lot of restaurants and things to do, but they rate it high, as well as diversity. Something that a lot of people that are looking to live in the suburbs that find Fort Mill attractive is the lower taxes that South Carolina has. So you have the affordability in South Carolina, the schools, and just the overall housing market that we'll talk about in just a second as well, that have really been attractive and why Fort Mill is rated so high. So let's take a look at the housing market, the real estate market in the Fort Mill area. Then we'll look at a little better map so you can see where Fort Mill is in relation to Charlotte and some of the other surrounding suburbs. So what's going on in the Fort Mill housing market? Well, the median sales price is quite a bit lower than the Matthews area at $446,500. Now that includes all property types, whether it's a single family home, townhouse, a condo, but that gives you and that was the same for Matthews and all of them, so you'll have apples to apples to compare, but still a relatively high price point for a median home price. Overall, it's dropped the past year, 1.8%, so not a huge drop, held very strong. Considering the headwinds with the high interest rates that have held back quite a few buyers, and it still has had a strong appreciation in a lot of those single family homes. But the lack of inventory, you can see sales prices have held strong, but the lack of inventory is notable across Charlotte and the greater Charlotte area. So this is no surprise to see, and you'll see where we are right now at about 1,300 homes on the market, and as we went back to 2021, we had almost 1,900 homes. So continued drop of 13%, and you'll continue to see that because of all the reasons I mentioned before. Plus, the prices of homes are much more affordable, and the taxes. So we have a strong, obviously, real estate market in the Fort Mill area. So just to give you a frame of reference of where Fort Mill is, let's check that out. So where is Fort Mill? Well, it's in South Carolina, so it's just south of North Carolina or Charlotte. But you are right here, straight shot on 77 up to the Charlotte area, or uptown Charlotte. Easy access to the airport, right over here, the CLT airport, jumping on 485. But as you can see here, the Fort Mill area is just west of Tega Cay, which is right on Lake Wylie. Lake Wylie's over here. Indian Land, which is just west, and then obviously just north you have Pineville, Ballantyne, and some of the other areas. But within Fort Mill, a number of parks, another great downtown district as well within Fort Mill. But a lot of things going on here, and it's well positioned with location-wise, easy access to Charlotte. So a lot of people will commute back and forth to the uptown area if need be. But as you'd imagine, traffic on 77 can be a bear at times. But that is our number 2 suburb that, according to niche.com, is a highly sought after area, as you can see. Well, let's jump into number 3 on our list, top suburbs in the South Charlotte area, and that would be the town of Weddington here in the South Charlotte area. And Weddington has absolutely exploded the past several years. It's always been a very desirable area for a variety of reasons, that whether it's the public schools, the same rankings they have right here from niche.com, but the desirability of Weddington with its vast green areas we'll talk about in just a minute, but you combine that with just a very desirable school system, housing market, a great area for families, and the small population and low density in Weddington. You can see here a population of just over 13,000 in Weddington has been very desirable. So if you're in Union County, lower taxes than Mecklenburg County, which is the greater Charlotte area, has made it very desirable. Let's look at where Weddington is located on the map so you can get an idea, some perspective, but we're going to jump into that right now. So Weddington is, as I mentioned, in Union County, so the south part of Charlotte Suburb, just north of Waxhaw, just south of Matthews. You've got Indian Trail, all these right here in the heart of Union County. The areas that are in Weddington, quite a bit of green space. See how much I can zoom in here. You can see Weddington Road takes you, which is 84 here, is really the main road through Weddington, which makes sense since it's called Weddington Road, but takes you to 16, which is Providence. And Providence, even though there's no commercial zoning in Weddington, so there's no stores, technically there is one that somehow got zoned in, which is one area, which is some grocery store, but realistically speaking, there's no zoned or future zoning of commercial areas within the Weddington area. So a lot of green space, only single family homes. It's not going to be a place where you're going to see apartments popping up or townhomes or condos for the foreseeable future. Anything can change, but so you've got 16 here, as I was saying, which is Providence. So if you want shopping, if you want nightlife or go out for a date, you're going to go to Blakeney or Ray Farms or any of these areas that have quite a bit of restaurants and really good food and dining and businesses right here. And this obviously takes you straight into the greater Charlotte area, or 485, as Providence Road is one of the huge ways to get to the greater Charlotte area. So that's where Weddington is located, south in the Union County area. But let's dive in a little bit, get a better idea of the real estate market and the housing market in the Weddington area. So as we look at the housing market in Weddington, it's one of low inventory and skyrocketing high prices for homes. And a lot of that has to do with the types of homes in the area, as well as the low density of homes that has made such a high demand and low inventory. So in Weddington, as you can see, the homes for sale, as of the current time right now, there's only 71 homes for sale in the Weddington, town of Weddington area, a drop of 28%. So we have an especially low amount of homes available. You have a big drop, and creating such a high demand, when they do come up or if they're priced well for people looking in the area, they go really quick, as they should for all the things going on that are positive for the area. So you can see here's another view of the new listings hitting the market, a drop of 52%. The big question is, what are the prices of homes in the area? And as you would imagine, for an area that's in high demand, and a lot of the homes in the area are larger homes, not all of them by any stretch, but you do see a lot of larger homes. But the median sales price for homes in the Weddington area is right at about $1.1 million. Not a low price point by any stretch. And you can see, if I move my head, the appreciation since 2021 has been considerable, so under 700,000 to where we are now, which is a little over 1.1 million. And like I said, that's the median, so there's some below it, there's some quite a bit above, so gives you an idea of where things are in the Weddington area. So as we wrap up some of the Weddington-based information, let's just chat about the crime and safety, the residents, the income levels of residents in Weddington. So there's so little crime in the Weddington area. That's not to say it doesn't happen by any stretch, but on the scale of things so low that they don't even have rankings here. So it's hard to judge there, but I can tell you it's very low in the Weddington area. A highly educated group of individuals with 25% having a master's degree or more, a bachelor's degree 40%, and then some college 22%. A variety of age ranges. You see this in especially the Weddington area, where you have people that have been here for a very long time, and you have new transplants, people moving into the area. So you have a real broad range of people here, and the people that are moving in or have been here are high earners, as you can see from that price point. You'd have to be with a median household income according to niche.com at $171,810 annually. So that's our recap of our overview of the Weddington area. It's our number 3. So let's jump into our number 4 top suburb. And we are on to number 4 of our top South Charlotte suburbs, and that leads us to Waxhaw, North Carolina. And it is, if you've watched some of our other videos, Waxhaw is absolutely one of those areas in Charlotte that we talk about and have highlighted several times because it's a great place for numerous reasons. And niche.com agrees as well, as they've given Waxhaw an A grade overall. And you can see from their main items, from public schools to the housing market, a good area for families, diversity, all of those being A's. And then crime and nightlife, still, you think of crime, like we said, as being a negative, but having low crime is a positive here in the Waxhaw area. Nightlife, as we'll talk about when we jump into a map here in a second, it's not its strong point. There is a great little downtown area, but if you're looking for nightlife, there's places closer to Uptown, or just jumping over to closer to Providence Road, or getting up to, like I said, closer to Uptown. There's some more nightlife activities going on. So let's take a look at the map so we can see where Waxhaw is positioned in relation to Charlotte, Uptown, and the other places that have been on our list as well. So as you can see, Waxhaw is obviously South Charlotte, but it's way down here in the south part of Charlotte, wedged between the south, and not wedged between, but it's right on the South Carolina, North Carolina border, just south of Weddington. This is Weddington right here. Fort Mill is farther over here. And we have some of the other great places that we'll talk about in the South Charlotte area. But the Waxhaw area has Providence Road that cuts right through the middle of Waxhaw. And one of the highlights of Waxhaw for me and for a lot of people is the downtown Waxhaw area. And it's on the south part of Waxhaw, but it's right here, as you'll see, the little strip here on Main Street. So what's nice about Waxhaw, their downtown, is they've done a great job of preserving some of the features of the the older brick style stores along Main Street, and have allowed people to move into those restaurants, and it just is a very cool vibe with the train running right through along Main Street. So you can see the train tracks right here. You have stores that people can imagine walking up and down Main Street. And as you walk a little further, David Barnes Children's Park is a really fun place. Our kids love it. We'll go to the downtown Waxhaw, then play on the swings and the park itself. It's a a small little park, but it's a lot of fun to take the family down and to just enjoy Waxhaw. So this is where Waxhaw is, and we're going to jump in back to our niche.com overview before talking about some of the real estate of Waxhaw. Okay, the topics I wanted to cover before talking about the real estate side of things is kind of what's going on from a crime and safety, as well as, let me see if I scroll up this up here, no, as well as the residents of Waxhaw. So as I mentioned, there's crime everywhere, but Waxhaw is low in crime from a national perspective. Murders and all of those, very offensive types of crimes, high offensive, very low in there, which is why I had such a high rating for crime. But surprisingly, or I should maybe not surprisingly, from an education standpoint, also like Weddington and the other areas that we've talked about, the residents of Waxhaw tend to have some type of degree, whether it's their bachelor's, master's, high school equivalency, or some college or associate's level degree. So education is highly educated, is popular for the area, which makes sense with the median household income being over $124,000 annually. So that gives you an idea of what's going on in Waxhaw from a resident standpoint. So let's talk about the real estate market in Waxhaw. So what's going on from a real estate, home price, overall market, real estate market in Waxhaw? Well, as you'd imagine, the real estate in Waxhaw, similar to the other places we've talked about, has skyrocketed, especially over the past 2 to 4 years in terms of prices and less inventory on the market. But the median price for homes in Waxhaw is right at $635,000. And that's appreciated, gone up over 9.5% year over year. And we're seeing a continued growth of the prices of homes in Waxhaw, whether it's Millbridge or some of these other pre-planned master communities. The number of homes available has just absolutely dropped, like all these areas across the board. Number of houses for sale, may move my head, has dropped. We saw the rebound as the interest rates rose, and obviously that seasonal dip always takes place at the end of the year, but then we just have seen the number of available homes, just especially to start off 2024, has dipped to almost historical levels from the 2022 time frame. So increasing sales price, low inventory, just creates that effect of a very competitive market, great for sellers. Buyers just need to be prepared for being ready to go and being able to put together a competitive offer. So with all that said, this is our overview of the Waxhaw area. Let's roll on to number 5 on our list of the top South Charlotte suburbs. And our final overview, number 5 on our list of top suburbs, is the hidden gem of Union County in South Charlotte, is Wesley Chapel. And a number of things that are attractive about Wesley Chapel, but a big one is its location. So before we jump into some of the highlights of Wesley Chapel, let's see where it is and why the location is such a great aspect of Wesley Chapel. So Wesley Chapel has a population only about a little over 8,000 residents. So it's a small suburb, but it's located right between Weddington and Monroe, where Weddington Road actually cuts right through Wesley Chapel. So a lot of times if you're going from one place to another, sometimes you're driving through Wesley Chapel and you don't even realize it. But what's nice about Wesley Chapel is the schools that Wesley Chapel has, as well as the shopping and things that you wouldn't expect in such a condensed area. But there's a really nice super Target, restaurants right along Weddington Road when you get into Wesley Chapel. So a lot of the residents from all around will go to somewhere like Wesley Chapel for some of the shopping because it is nice and it's a newer developed area with newer stores and things. So in a very condensed area, has some nice development going on, and as we'll talk about home prices and some of the other aspects of Wesley Chapel that are very desirable. So location-wise, we're right down still in the Union County, part of the South Charlotte suburbs, just north of Waxhaw. You can jump over to 74. It can take a little bit to get to Providence Road and then north on Providence or 16. But from a location standpoint, it's nice to be able to be between, like I said, Monroe if you're going over there, or Weddington and Blakeney and some of these other areas. But it's right, as you can see, still south, but not quite as south as Waxhaw as part of Charlotte. Since Wesley Chapel's so close to Weddington, to Waxhaw, the demographic of the area is very similar to Weddington when it comes to the home sale prices, that's not demographic, that's more of the real estate side, but demographic, the income, as well as a lot of the students go to the Weddington high schools, which is a huge positive because it's one of the highest rated schools in North Carolina, but especially Charlotte. We'll talk about the real estate side because it's actually quite a bit more than what niche.com is reporting. From a crime, from a overall crime in the area, it's almost not non-existent, but it's very low overall. Similar to previously talking about Weddington, it's so low they don't have a ranking or a number of them on here, but it's and it's a very small area, but the crime is not. It is a big positive for such little crime going on. Highly educated overall in the Wesley Chapel area, and as we'll talk about now, the home prices, the real estate market in Wesley Chapel also has been very strong for the area overall. So on to the real estate of Wesley Chapel. Interesting enough, looking at the most recent prices, median prices in Wesley Chapel, you'll see from the big run up in the first of 2023 to now, we've actually had a decrease of about 7.3%, still at a median price at $760,500. Especially when you go back to, we're almost $450,000 in the beginning of 2021. There's been obviously a huge appreciation over that time. That's the median of 760,000. Average price is about 741,000, which has dropped some from over a short period of time. A lot of that's interest rates that have played a factor in that, but also just from normalization of prices in the area. So, could be a great time to buy depending on the home, but and location's important there depending on where it's located in the school. The school it's zoned for, whether it's Weddington or another school. So that's the prices. The number of homes on the market has continued to drop as well, and as prices were continuing to drop over the past year, 6 months more so, the number of inventory has stabilized over the past 3-4 months. So positive signs overall for the Wesley Chapel area, but still very low amount of inventory. Very small area overall in Union County. So we're looking at, as of right now, under 20 homes available in the area. So not a huge sample size, but a good idea of the market in Wesley Chapel. So that's our overview of the 5th place on our list for the top suburbs in South Charlotte. So let's wrap it up with an overview of all the places that we just talked about from a real estate standpoint. So I've added 4 of the places that we've just checked out. The Wesley Chapel is not on here because we just went over it, but comparing these 4, Matthews, Waxhaw, Weddington, and Fort Mill, you can see the price differences of these top areas. And Weddington, as you probably expected from a home price at 1.1 million, over 1.1 million, has increased 2%. Here's Waxhaw at $737,000 and a growth of 7%. Matthews at mid 500s at growth of 7.5%. And Fort Mill, oddly enough, is the one outlier here that's actually has depreciated at 1.8% over the past 12 months. And all of them have a similar story when it comes to the path of the number of homes on the market, new listings, homes for sale, all decreasing over time. But all of them did see a pickup as those interest rates picked up. So did the number of homes that stayed on the market, but that trend of decreasing.
Thanks so much for joining us on our overview of the top 5 South Charlotte suburbs. I'm Steve Jarrell with the Longleaf Group. Love working with people just like you every single day, so make sure to reach out. If you have any questions, or if there are other areas or topics you'd like to hear covered, make sure to put a comment below. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you next time.